Not gonna lie. I am, this is my review of the build, of this build. Liquidating it as quickly as possible. Hello, how's it going? This is just the belated part 2 of my little league update. It's just gonna be a lightly edited talk about where I've been, where I'm going, where I am with the league. It's been a journey, as you can see already on the screen. In contrast to the kind of the burning flames behind me of of where I was in the league before, we are now, kind of to fit the spirit of our little ranger buddy here. We are in a nice peaceful forest, which I think sets the tone for how I'm feeling now, finally. It's been, I think, a week and a half since the last video, and I've been so in the weeds of just bouncing between everything, trying everything out, trying to find something, balancing between finding a build that I love, trying to find something like a new interesting mechanic that's kind of something worth making a video for, right? Like a build guide or something, and also just trying to be entertaining on Twitch. So, which it can be a little bit tiring when you just don't know what your build is doing and you feel, you're feeling so behind in the league. But if you know from my last video, basically the league start was kind of iffy, and as everyone knows, I started as an elementalist. I was going to go Burning Arrow, went to Armageddon Brand, Wave of Conviction, did that for a little while, and I think that's where we were at. And I was kind of looking to respec and see what I could do after that and kind of recover the league. So I've just been going into the build hole, or into the bunker, and really digging deep and trying out things that kind of look interesting to me in the past that maybe I hadn't tried before because I wasn't sure that they were good. Definitely learned some real strong lessons along the way for what I actually like, and knowing what's actually in my wheelhouse. And but I branched out. I kind of pushed the boundaries of what I like doing, what I'm comfortable doing, and a lot of it was reinforcing what I already know, but I did learn some things. So yeah, I was respecting my elementalist. I was like, you know what? Bane, ED Contagion, that's what, it's always good, right? Or Vortex, Vortex Cold Snap. At the least, it'll get you red maps. You can get going, recover the league a little bit. So I saw that Death Oath was fairly cheap. You don't have to link it. And with Harvest, we can set the color. We can get the correct colors on it very, very cheap. Pro tip: if you want to make money, I don't know if anyone's buying Death Oaths right now, but at the beginning of the league start, you can buy a Death Oath super, super cheap. And if there's Harvest in the league, you can just toss it into Harvest, change colors to blue and green. The colors that a Chaos build needs, and you get the right colors on the chest, and you can flip it for like 1 to 2 Exile profit. Real easy. So yeah, fun little thing that you can do there. So I did Death Oath for a little while. It was okay. It was really nice. Like the propane bloom explosions, they were really nice in Ultimatum. But I had like all 20/20 gems. You can push a little bit further with Awakened gems, but all 20/20 gems in there. I had a 6-link Cane of the Unraveling with ED for more single target damage. And I think I got to like tier 13, 14 map when it just started feeling, I could tell, like, this is just, it's an auto bomber. It's what it does. You pop Withering Step, you run, things explode. It's nice, but you're just, and this is a theme that I always come back to when I try kind of funky stuff is, can I not kill bosses with this build? I just don't like it, man. Like, I really like kind of jack of all trade builds. Like every build is gonna have, it's gonna have like in the matrix of things it can do. It's gonna have strengths and weaknesses. But if just like killing a boss is turned off on that build, I'm already like I'm already like not interested. Because like, oh crap, I spawned Cirrus. I got a Maven's Writ. I need to switch over to another character or just sell it. Like, I can't do this. Like, I hate that feeling. So I I respec to Bane. I went to PoE Ninja. I did some exploration. I actually posted a video that's doing pretty well. I'll put it up there in the little link at the top, about my version of the Bane Occultist. I did a couple things that were kind of cute, primarily building around Misery Everlasting and Void Sphere, and also getting Culling Strike on there, and just like having a like 8 or 9 second Void Sphere constantly going during ultimatums, and you have Bane always, and you're always hindering, and you have Bane doing temp chains on all the monsters. Really, really comfortable. And for about 3 exalts, you can kill. I don't know. I'm advertising my build right now, but I really, really like that build. Definitely check out the video. It's an incredible build if you only have a couple exalts and you want to get to like at least A5 Cirrus. So I kind of pushed that build about as far as I could go. I could have put like another 10x into it, and like I did kill Awakener 8 Cirrus, but it was slow. And so like I was like, okay, build is done. I'm happy with this build, solid, love it, but I need something that's just like has a little bit more oomph to it. Like, okay, how do we transition to my endgame build? And so I don't know how I got from that mindset to I'm gonna level an Inquisitor. I think it was just like, I know Inquisitor is very strong right now. Very, very strong. There's all the... everyone was getting excited about the Blade Blast Inquisitor, which was really funny because some content creators had to put apology videos out because they oversold the build. But still, like, it is a very, very strong Ascendancy. I had never leveled one, and I wanted to give it a shot. But I ended up looking at Cast on Crit Reap, and, well, it just sucks. It just sucks. Reap is a bad skill. It should feel bad for existing. It is awful. It needs severe tweaks. There's no way that anyone's playing it right now for any extended period of time on a strong build. It just can't. Like, it just mechanically, like, if you click on, I know they made it better, but if you click on a monster or like slightly in front of a monster now, you're just gonna totally miss. And that is just the worst thing ever. The damage, like the way that it scales damage is like, if you don't kill a monster, you do more damage, but as soon as you kill a monster, you lose damage. That just, it doesn't work. It just feels really, really bad. I literally just took that Reap, I dropped in Exsanguinate, and it felt 100 times better. Exsanguinate is a very cool skill. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. The main problem is you can only scale physical damage over time so much. It has like a medium-sized ceiling, but you're never going to get like big damage with it. But it's in a good place. I think Exsanguinate's a very cool skill, and I love that this innately chaining physical damage over time skill exists. But, Exsanguinate, it was okay. The synergy there with Inquisitor was not huge also. And so then I was like, all right, what are all like the big D Inquisitors doing? You look at it, and it's the Purifying Flame build. And, they use the Volconis with the Battle Mage, Purifying Flame, and the Oak Shield. And that's like a lot of Inquisitors are doing it. I think I put like 15 exalts into it. I didn't go full endgame or anything, but it really didn't. And, I was looking at all of like the top PoE Ninja builds. I was referencing everything they had, and I was like 80% the same as the #1 DPS Purifying Flame guy. And even in like medium red maps, it felt really, really uncomfortable. So the interesting thing about it is you start off decent in like white maps, but then you have like you have your two axes, right, of like, I can get tankier or I can do more damage. And normally you just keep pushing those at the same time in a certain direction. But because you're stuck with these uniques to enable the build, you only can you can't push the traditional knobs. And like maybe you could craft like a ridiculous weapon to beat the Volconis, but it's really hard to beat. And so like the way that the top DPS guys were eking out damage is very clever. Like I thought it was cool looking at it, is they were using Petrified Blood, and then they would reserve some life, which would then let them use Pain Attunement, which, that's a nice 30% damage multiplier. And then they would use that would just give them an extra reservation. They would then reserve Purity of Fire and use that to, and then with all of the regen with Pious Path that Inquisitor gets, they were using that to maintain Righteous Fire and get more spell damage off of that. And unfortunately, it makes you squishy enough. And because you're a fire cast on crit build, you're basically just melee. Like, you do not get the benefit of Ice Nova's chill and cold. And without any of those defensive layers, you're basically just, you're going in there trying to do your damage as quickly as possible. But if the mob gets one big one shot, it's like, it looks okay with the like, and I had like 80% of the full effective HP that the number one guy had, and like the damage is like okay, but you will get one shot a lot. Because the way that Petrified Blood works is you kind of effectively are a little tankier at times, but if something's like rapidly shotgunning you or just one really big one shot, it will it will go through your reserve life pool, or your reduced life pool. And so like it had this, the build had this feeling of like, okay, we're getting tankier, damage feels okay, we're getting into yellow maps, damage feels like a little down. And then when you get into red maps, and especially as you start going for rare red maps, you have to like drop your survivability just to, like, there's no other knobs you can really push to get your damage higher. And I think having to sacrifice your defense when it's already like okay and not awesome, because you're just this melee, non-chilling, non-freezing, cast-on crit Cyclone guy, it just felt really uncomfortable to me. And so as you can see, I got him to level 88. On stream, I was like, okay, I'm going to get him to level 90. Like, my goal is, okay, I'm going to get to level 90 tonight on stream. We're going to kill Cirrus, and then we're going to go to the next build. And unfortunately, I didn't even make it that far. I was like 88 and a half, and I just died to a couple really obnoxious one-shots. I wasn't even doing like super hard maps. And then so I was doing things like dropping Righteous Fire and dropping Petrified Blood and putting in a Roomies and trying to get tankier and tankier. But then the damage was just awful. And then you would eventually die to like a shotgun anyway, because your biggest defensive layer as an Inquisitor is your regen. And shotguns just hard counter regen. Because even if you're regenerating 2,000 effective life, a shotgun will happen in like 0.1 seconds, and just regen doesn't matter at that point. So I just didn't love it. I'm sure that I could make... I do want to revisit the Inquisitor. I don't know if I will this league, but yeah, did not love it. Let's just say it was a rough experience. So then after that, I was... this was kind of a unfortunate thing, but I think it ended up being good for me in the end. So I actually had been teasing on stream for a week that I was going to do a self-chilled Berserker. I was looking at Frostblades or Wild Strike, but I was also thinking of like, what's another... I wanted to do like a strike skill. And so like I actually hadn't seen, I haven't watched Tuna or Rutu or anything yet. I haven't had time this league. I just wanted to do self-chilled Berserker. It's something I've wanted to do for like a year or more. And so I didn't even know what strike skill I was going to use. I looked at Lightning Strike. I wasn't leaning towards it, but I did want to do some self-chilled Berserker. It's actually been a build that's been around for a while. And then like the day that I created this character, Tuna and Grimro dropped their videos and the prices of everything skyrocketed, and I just didn't want to also hop on the bandwagon of the build that everyone was going to be playing. It just felt really... Yeah, I don't know. Like, it looks like a cool build. I think it's going to be a little bit of a flash in the pan. I think it is very good, but people do not understand how squishy Berserker is. I think a lot of people are going to jump on that build, and they're going to feel some pain. They're going to feel some growing pains because they've never played a Berserker before. So that was so I was like, I already had this Berserker. What am I going to do? And the whole time I was playing with him, I was just leveling with the regular Hollow Palm Consecrated Path, leveling very, very quickly. It was nice, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And then when I got to maps, I was like, you know what? Let's just stay on Hollow Palm Consecrated Path, see what we can do with it. And I pushed it to like level 75-ish. And then I looked at what other people. I knew that I knew that Ice Crash was a big boy damage skill. So I was like, all right, let's just put in Ice Crash. Look at people that have played Hollow Palm Ice Crash on Berserker. There's not a lot, but I know it is a big damage if you get it going. Played that for maybe to like 82, or maybe to like 78 or so. The problem with Hollow Palm, and I think, this is me kind of learning what I like for a build and what I don't like for a build, is there's like cool things with, you look at all the systems that you play around with for putting a build together, and Hollow Palm has like restrictions, and the way that creativity like really happens is when there's restrictions in the system and you can start narrowing the variables down, and you have to be creative to how to get your numbers to where you want them to be. But Hollow Palm is very restrictive, and there's only so many, like the knob you turn is how do I get more dexterity, and there's very, very little flexibility there. Like your chest armor is going to be, until you craft a big expensive chest, is just going to be brisk crap. I don't even know if it's possible to beat Fractal Thoughts on the helm. And yeah, so it's a very set in stone kind of build. People figured it out. There's not a lot of creativity there. And Hollow Palm is just, you're very, very squishy. The damage is cool, but you're just like randomly one shot. And if you're not getting your big hits, it's like whatever. So I did the Ice Crash. It was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, let's just try like a normal one-handed Ice Crash. Went back to Ritual League, sorted by DPS. Saw this guy had 2.2 billion DPS as one-handed Ice Crash. I started putting it together. It felt okay. The actual mapping with Ice Crash is like delayed and funky, and the way that Berserker worked with attacking super fast and multi-strike, and the delay with Ice Crash going like boom, 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 it actually felt really, really uncomfortable. I did not like it. And even if I had infinite damage, the monsters that I wasn't hitting were doing bonus I had an Abyssus and the Berserker extra damage taken. You're just dying anyway. It was tankier than the Hollow Palm version, but and I crafted like an okay. I think I hit Dictators on a jeweled foil, but I didn't have like big damage on it, and it just felt kind of crappy. So I was like, what else can I do? And then I bought like a Void Forge, and I was like, what does two-handed feel like? This feels crappy. And then I was like, oh, well, let's see. Can we do Flicker Strike? And I put like, an hour into trying Flicker Strike. I spent another 10-15x on it. Didn't feel awesome. And for reference, when I'm saying I spent like 10 exalts, this is me. I have like 10 exalts, period. So I'm like buying the gear and then don't like it. I sell it for a little loss, and then I buy different gear. Like I haven't been making money at all in the past 2 weeks. And then I was like, you know what, screw it. So what I was looking at Flicker Strike, and all the big damage Flicker Strike folks are raiders. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna make a raider. I know I like the class anyway. Worst case, I can go into something with like with a Pathfinder. And I was planning on being so like the reason why this character's name is This Is a Better Class is because it was just a better class for Flicker Strike. And about halfway through mapping, I was like in Act 5 or 6, I was just like, and I was leveling with Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain already, and I was like, you know what, even though Berserker was not the best, also I bought a Pharaoh's Fur and everything, like I had the gear on the Flicker Strike, and I was just like, man, this playstyle sucks. More power to the people that play Flicker Strike, but damn, I don't like it. And I think it's just like, it's one of those things where like, yeah, you can have fun doing it, but in terms of mechanics, it's just kind of like objectively bad, right? Like, it's fun. It's one of those things where just like, there's like, if we want to be objective, like, how good is it killing bosses? How good is it clearing maps? How good is it at something? It's just like, and how good is it at just not randomly dying? How good is it at delve? It's just like objectively really, really bad on all of those axes. But it is fun, right? Like I was just holding down right click in an ultimatum, and my Berserker was just going. So it's like it's totally subjectively very, very fun. But I would say it's like objectively like a bad skill in terms of the way it works in what you want to accomplish in the game. So it's like you're sacrificing all of your functionality for just the fun of teleporting around. So more power to people that love Flicker Strike, but I don't like a character that is like gimped just for the fun of the mechanic of the skill. So like I was halfway through Axe and I was just like, F it, I'm just gonna stick with TR. TR is something I know very, very well. I know it was nerfed pretty decently. It was like moderately nerfed. And I have never played it on a Raider. So let's do that. And so I am just a normal Toxic Rain Raider right now. I have fiddled a little bit. The big thing that I've done is I think if you can fit Void Sphere in your build right now, and especially if you are a Chaos-based build, you can take a Chaos or just a Cursing build. You can take advantage of the I think it's Wish for Death is the name of the notable, which gives you Culling Strike against cursed enemies. And I think that's just a free thing that you can get, or you can link Culling Strike to a Void Sphere, and it just is so good in ultimatums. And since I am Toxic Rain, I have so much increased skill effect, my Void Sphere lasts almost 12 seconds, which is crazy. So I just cast it once, and I can do a whole wave of an ultimatum, cast it again. Super easy. So anyway, this is my I don't want to go into I've already gone on too long. So thank you for anyone that's sat here and listened for my little update. But yep, that I've as you can tell, I've been bouncing around. I think I've actually missed a build or two here also. But calling it a build, it's like a half build. It's just me kind of, I like half change something, right? But I've just been trying things. I think I'm like fully, if I was fully liquid, I would be like 30 exalts. Like I have not been making money. I've just been trying out different mechanics, different skills. In the service of trying to be someone who is knowledgeable about mechanics and skills, I think that this is a very important process for me to go through, even as painful as it is. But the goal right now is just stick with Toxic Rain. I'm going to push it as far as I feel comfortable, which will be pretty far. And, maybe after I've killed... I want to do all the content in the game now. Like, I have a lot of catching up to do. I haven't killed Maven yet. I killed Awakener 8 Cirrus once, very, very slowly. So I want to catch up on all of the game content. And then once I've done that, and I feel like this build is like totally put together and totally awesome, hopefully I come up with a couple tweaks here and there that kind of make it unique for a Toxic Rain build. I think especially with Chaos skills, there's a lot of room for fiddling. I'll make a video for this character, if for no other reason than just saying like, hey, this build was awesome. Everyone was saying TR Raider was going to be good, and it's good. And I can already tell you, like, it's really nice. It's still a very good skill to use. And, yep, so that's my current plans right now. Late update, but as you can see, I've been jumping around. So yeah, thanks a lot for everyone that's been sticking through this. Catch me for the video. Sub to catch for the next video for this Raider, and yeah, stay tuned for future builds and updates and all that. Like I have some really cool ideas actually that my friends have given me for videos that are not just build related. So I think there's some good stuff coming down the pipe. So catch you guys in the future. Thanks.